Okay. So then AUD USD kept on selling into the next day. We come here, we find that Asia is there, and there was sell side liquidity from the previous day. That's from a higher time frame setup, which I'll be posting those videos also on how my swing setups have been going. So we see Asia high there. We have the low here. We're seeing that the price was ranging to some extent. Let me just remove the lines. I've noticed something about the lines which I'm about to use in my next strategies. Asia here. So we want either Asia high or low to be taken out. We see that low has been taken out as we come into London. We're creating lower lows, higher lows, lower low, higher low, lower low, and then here we create a higher high. Now, here we can say possibly that there's a market structure shift that's happening, and we wait for price to get down here, and then we buy, right? So that's a possible strategy I was looking at. And what happened was price came down and took us out, which is fine. So again, we're looking for London to create either the low or the high for us. Now, London, now price has taken out the lows, right? It's taken out the lows here as we wanted to. So that's one thing. The second one, we wanted to get into London and then form a high. So this high is actually interesting because it's a higher high compared to this one, right? Higher high, but it's on a downtrend. So it doesn't take out, it's not come back to take out the Asia highs, which is still valid because this makes it still a high of the day, right? Because midnight open also is over here. Oh, that's true. So it becomes the high of the day. Comparing it to even these previous highs, looking left, still the high of the day. This is previous day. So with that said, so we made a sell entry on M5, downward displacement of a failed breakthrough of the highs, also a M15 fair value gap. That's just some of my notes. So if you look at it here, see that price formed an area of liquidity. So it tested the zone once, again twice, a rejection from that zone, and then came back and then was rejected, then formed a second attempt, third attempt, possibly. So these becomes what? Double tops or double tops or just a stronger resistance. If you're using the double top, I tend to like to do that sometimes. That becomes our neckline. If it breaks below that, or a current support, if it breaks below that, we look for either a pullback or an immediate entry, high risk, and then we put our stops above that zone. And that's what happened. However, from this point in time, from this other strategy, what we're looking at is that if price breaks, gives us an impulse move to the downside, it should come back to this fair value gap, and then we make an entry on that gap. Now we see that price didn't do exactly that. It just broke that current support and dropped to the downside. So that is a more aggressive entry if we're using that strategy, and I'm seeing that using a double top on the 5 minutes just needs you to be aggressive and get in on current support or current resistance break. That's what I'm noticing. So I'll keep on backtesting this to collect some more data to see whether it makes sense and whether it's something you can also add on to your arsenal. Okay, so price breaks down to the downside, aggressive entry there, pop. We see a pullback into this zone. Now, if you see this pullback happening also, another thing we tell ourselves is that if this pullback happens and price is failing to take out this liquidity up here or previous highs on the left, then there's a likelihood that we are going down because this becomes a lower high, that becomes a new swing low, and this swing high becomes very strong. So another rejection, we see this one. I mean, as soon as you see this, you just go in for a sell. And that's exactly what we did. We went in for a sell. Now remember, we still had the initial bias from here. Let's see what my note says. Buy into an M5, fair value gap, Asia low sweep. Now, we were hedging and saying, because we've swept Asia low, we swept it once, then we've swept it twice, and then price comes back here. What if price comes back here? Because we also have a support zone right there, or demand, right? We have a support right here. So what if price decides to come down, because again, anything can happen, right? It's a game of probabilities. Price can come down. Now it's trapped both buyers, trapped them, it's coming to eat into their profits. Then now it's about to trap us as the sellers who've gotten in on this trade on a sell right here after this rejection. And then it traps us and then takes out liquidity and then moves to whichever side it wants to move to. So with that said, I still kept on my buy hedge here. At least I was buying it at a very good price, very discounted price, with a fair value gap here, showing after giving us a sort of market structure, no, not a sort of, after giving us a confirmed market structure shift on this lower side, and also another confirmed market structure shift or break of structure on this leg. So I saw that this could be a viable point. I think here now, if I used my fib, it would make complete sense, because now the fair value gap is also in the golden zone, the 71, right? So I kept that trade and watched it play out. What happened to my buy, this bias? The dollar was still strong. Fundamentally, positive week for the dollar. So there's definitely still going to be some weakening of AUD and the selling of the currency. But it's good to be safe. So with that one said, I think by the time price was getting to the stop loss of my second trade, it's a big second trade, I'm already breaking even, almost breaking even on the first one, the first sell entry. So 1:3 hit there perfectly. If I was scaling in, I would have added another trade right there. But we went, price went, and then as the day would have it again, news for the dollar was coming out. So our TPE was hit in full. 1:10, we got it correct. 1:3, 1:6, all hit on a good day. So this is a very good week for sure. If you're trying to do a funded challenge, I think you'd be way past that. If you're funded already, very good profits for you for the week.